1, 2, 3, clap. Howdy, friends. You've just made your way over to a new episode of Hey Buddy Nice Podcast. Coming in from Scotland, that's Brogan Hastings.
And coming in from Australia, that's Wayne Giovinazzi.
Yeah, it is.
I actually said your name right. I'm always paranoid when I say it. I say it wrong now.
I was so excited. That's why I was like, yeah, it is. This intro's a bit long, isn't it?
But it's good.
Yeah.
Fucking rocks.
It's a Froyo soft serve classic. Justin.
A plus, 10 out of 10. 5 stars, Justin.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. There's a fade out.
I did actually.
All right, it's over.
Yeah, before we started recording, before you even messaged me this morning, I was practicing how to say your name.
Really? Were you looking in the mirror or looking at a photo of me?
No,
just saying, Wayne Giovinazzi, Wayne Giovinazzi.
No, I was just walking around going, Giovinazzi. How can I say that weird, but still right?
Giovinazzi.
Giovinazzi.
Sometimes I do have to pronounce the Geo very on purpose for people to understand.
Yeah,
but we've been through this. We've talked about my name and all that because we've got other things to talk about. Because very exciting week this week, wasn't it, Brogan?
It was a battle of laughs this week.
And why was it such a big, momentous, exciting week?
Because we discovered that we are now on the same haircut schedule.
Oh my god, that is exactly what I was going for.
I've just realised what you were actually going for. But...
Damn, I really thought you were going to say, oh, because we launched the podcast this week, and I was going to correct you, but no. See, that's perfect.
See,
that's great.
This is the thing that we both actually, turns out we have the same brain, because I thought that's what you were getting at.
Yeah, maybe I made it too obvious. Maybe I didn't bury the lead enough. But that's good. I wanted to talk about haircuts. So yeah, we're on the same haircut schedule.
Yeah, I did actually forget the podcast. The podcast launched this week. That's why I went for haircuts.
It was like 2 days ago.
I know.
But haircuts are important. But yeah, we're not only like close enough to getting a haircut at the same time. It's like literally the same day, hours apart.
Yes, quite literally. And it was necessary for both of us. Because we had messy bar nuts.
Messy bar nuts? What?
Do you know, is this another local reference?
A bar nut.
B-A-R net. Is
Burnett, like Carol Burnett?
B-A-R-N-E-T. Now I'm...
B-A-R-N-E-T. Okay. I don't know what a barnet is. Is it like you're calling us something, or you're referring to our heads as just being barnets?
Barnet's just it's slang for hairstyle.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's not a thing that I've ever heard. But then again, apparently having a skive and skiving is a known thing here in Australia as well. It was just me.
That's true.
But you forgot that our podcast came out 2 days ago.
I did.
Okay.
It was. I guess so exciting that it just vanished from my brain.
Yeah. To be fair, we had it. They were recorded weeks in advance, so
yeah,
it wasn't something new for us, really.
That's true. And the fact that I don't know why, but it now feels like it's been out for ages.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Even though it's what 48 hours. If that. It was Friday. Yeah. Friday, and we're now Sunday. Oh, no, yeah, it's 48 hours because it's 6 o'clock on a Sunday, my time. So, yeah, 49 hours.
49 hours.
That's all right. But the worst part about the podcast, releasing it, just waiting for it to populate on every podcast app.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Like, straight away, Spotify instantaneously there, and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts came to the party nice and early.
Yep.
But we use Pocket Casts. And for some reason, that is the last one that decides to populate. And we're sitting there refreshing the goddamn app over and over again.
It was about an hour or something that it took to think. And I think both of us actually set our notifications on for it so that we could...
Yep.
Because I was working. I was working when you launched it, so I'm like, trying to answer emails and check my podcast app at the same time.
Yeah, and it got to one point where you're like, maybe we can have a production meeting and complain about Pocket Casts not publishing our podcast. But then weirdly, my friend messaged me at like 11 p.m. So what's that? 6 odd hours after launch, saying sneakily launching a podcast this late in the middle of the night. I'm like, what are you talking about? Pocket Cast just notified me that your podcast is up now. It's like, oh well, you're further behind than what we are.
Yeah, because I think I ended up sending you a whole like rant thing for Pocket Cast that was like in the style of The Godfather. Like, we patronize your app. You disrespect us like this.
I was going to say horse's head, and then the horse's head reminded me about our own heads and our haircuts. So how long had it been since you have had a haircut then?
Literally just before Vegas. So I think it was maybe the Wednesday before I left for Vegas. So
okay,
over 3 months.
Oh no, never mind. I was earlier than you to America. Sorry, there's some coughing going on here in the background. No, I thought for a second we were on perfect haircut schedule for 2 haircuts in a row because I got my haircut just before I left as well. But that was like a week and a half before you.
Yeah.
Oh well. How do you go with haircuts? Are you fine getting a haircut? Because I fucking hate it.
I'm usually okay, but I don't know, for some reason this time I was like, I really don't want to do this. I just don't. Like, I knew I wanted my hair cut and I knew it had to be done because it was a mess. But like driving to the hairdresser, I was like, don't like this. Maybe I can just turn around now. And then it got cut and I'm like,
I've done that.
It doesn't surprise me because the amount of times that you've talked on stream that you're like, I have to get a haircut and I don't want to.
Yeah. See, I usually it's fine for me to get a haircut for the last year or so, maybe even longer, a couple of years, because the place I go, I see the same person every time, and they cut my hair how I like it, like, and we try out things from based on my suggestions, and they're really good at it. But they are currently away on maternity leave, so how dare they disrupt my life like this? And Lisa, I know you're a listener, so forget that baby. Get back to work.
You need your haircut stat.
Yeah. But it got to the point where I could not leave the house without wearing a hat. I just couldn't do anything with my head.
Well, I was wearing hats when we were recording, so that's how bad mine was.
Yeah. Yeah. But I decided I just had to roll the fucking dice, and I opened up the app where you book in your haircut, and I looked through all the people that were working. I didn't recognize any names. And there was like 7 or 8 barbers working that day. So I'm like, fuck it. Next available. That is insane for me to do because it really does fill me with anxiety every time leading up to going to get my haircut, even with my my barber Lisa, who does a very good job, because I don't know what the outcome is going to be, because there's a potential for it looking really bad. I've had bad haircuts in the past. Like the worst one I've had, I came out of it and I said to Shannon, as I think Kez was there as well, I said, this haircut makes me look like I'm English. And they agreed. Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah.
But there's been times where I've needed to get a haircut and I know I have to do it, and I've taken something to calm my nerves.
Wow.
Like prescription medication, which is not a good thing, because at this barber's, when you arrive, included in the price of the haircut, they offer you an alcoholic beverage. And the prescription medication and the alcoholic beverage do not mix.
No.
And one time, that did not work in my favor because I wasn't really paying attention to what I was saying, how I wanted my haircut. And I think I said, no, it's not so bad nowadays, but back then, I didn't like my hair as short as it is now, because this is basically a skin fade. It's a number 0 going up. And then I asked for, I think, a number 1 or a 0 then, and it was not good.
No. I can never remember what they'd use for mine, because I know they use the clippers on the back and sides. They just cut it on the top, but it's a number 3 on the sides. But I was sitting there thinking before she asked me, and I was like, I think it's a number 2. And then she was like, oh, we'll start you at number 4 and then work our way up. And I was like, oh, all right, okay, that's definitely not what I thought it was.
Yeah, it's better to start longer if Because if it's wrong, it's not hard to go shorter.
Well, that's what she said. This is the first time I've been to this girl.
What she said.
She was very nice. Because I always forget, who the last person I've been to was.
Yeah.
So I just end up booking next available. But she was very nice. They've always done a good job at that hairdressers, barbers place. But she did go, maybe not quite a guy style. I was like, you can do it a guy style, it's fine. That's all the reference pics I use.
Yeah, that's good.
But
you get what you want.
Exactly. I did sit there and think, because you had said to me before, show her the picture of Ryan Reynolds, because that's what you'd...
Yeah, that's what I had to do, yeah, because I always go in with reference photos, and I would search, apparently it's called high and tight, which sounds like something other than a haircut. Yeah. But you search that, and there is a lot of, like, shorn, like, razor edge head pics in there with it all the way, like, halfway up the head, and then hair starts, which is certainly not what I want, because when I showed her the pictures, she said, oh, a skin fade, and I'm freaking out, like, what? No, we don't want that. And I showed her a picture of one of those, like, no hair to hair. I was like, I don't want pure skin. Forget that. I want it more like, and then I picked out the Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. Not saying, hey, I'm good enough to sport a Ryan Reynolds haircut, but it was the Deadpool era Ryan Reynolds fade, which I pointed at because it was the first one there. But that sort of feeds into my wanting to be reincarnated as Ryan Reynolds. So.
My technique was I know my hair's too long if I can run my fingers through it and like actually like it's poking through my finger, like when I grip my hair at the top and it's poking through my fingers. If I can hold my...
We're both just sitting here gripping our hair now.
If I can hold my hair at the top and I can't see or feel anything coming through my fingers, then that's fine. And the sides are clippered. So that's what I literally said to her. She was like, I can do that.
Good. At least they know what to do when you ask for it.
Yeah, but I also realised when I got back that if I dip my head down, I've got like a widow's peak, which I quite like.
Oh, that's right. You pointed that out to me. An M for Matt Donnelly.
I forgot I said it was for Matt Donnelly.
Yeah.
I just think Vegeta because I'm a big anime nerd.
Vegeta, okay. I thought, see, whenever I hear Vegeta, there's this brand called, it's spelt the same, like Vegeta, which is like a vegetable-based seasoning. That's what I picture every time. It's got like a fat chef on it. But I was having a proper freak out while waiting at the hairdresser, at the barber. Because it's not a hairdresser, it is a barber. Yeah. It's called a barber. Because I knew that I was up next, and I saw the person leaving, and the sides of their head were fluffy. And I was like, oh God, I've had bad fluffy haircuts before. I can't do that.
Yep.
And I checked my heart rate on my watch, and it was up to like 108, which, considering my resting heart rate is around high 50s. So it wasn't good. And I hadn't had an alcoholic beverage. I just had a bottle of water. Because, I'm not going to be drinking that early in the day at a hairdresser in a shopping mall.
Oh, God. So, yes, I don't have as much anxiety about haircuts as I do about the dentist for some reason. It's not that I'm nervous about the dentist. I just... The thought of having to book an appointment fills me with anxiety for some reason.
As in just the fact that it's having to book an appointment, or that it's book an appointment for the dentist?
Just the fact that it's booking an appointment. I don't know why. I do need to do that on Monday because it's been a while.
Is it because you have to call them, or can you do it online?
It's because I have to call them, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Do you know if you can do it online?
I can't. I think I've looked before, and I always have to call them, and it's, yeah.
Well, how far away is the dentist?
You know how far away it is. I can literally...
Leading questions.
I can literally see the building for the dentist from my house.
So, point being, is it any better to walk over there and be like, hey, I need to book an appointment?
That's somehow worse. That's somehow so much worse. Okay. And I wondered if it's because that I maybe went in once. I think the dentist in general just gives me anxiety, and it's for good reason. It's not just general, scared of the dentist. It's because the story I've said before about the dentist sticking that needle in my lip. for one thing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And
I forgot about that.
One of the times that I went up there was a couple of things I needed done, but I needed extraction. I needed one of my wisdom teeth out. And
so SEAL Team 6 came in and got you out of there.
Well, no, like I said, I had to go in for a couple of things. One was a fill and one was an extraction. And one was a scale and polish, as it's called. Look at me using fancy terms.
A cleaning is what they do.
Yeah, so I went in thinking I was going in for a scale and polish, and she's like, yeah, you're in for an extraction. And I was like, I have not psyched myself up for that. Thanks very much.
Yeah, that's a surprise, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I did get it, but I did stand there just panicked.
Yeah.
And even, and I'm not even that bad now. Like, I've been to the point where I've gone up to the dentist and I was like, please just take this tooth out. Thank you. You know, but I don't know.
So it sounds like we've gotten down to the root of the problem.
It's a good thing you're in Australia, because I would slap you for that.
Yeah, you should. I don't have the balls to pull off those puns like Paul Mattingly.
No. No one does.
But yeah, I don't so much care about the procedures at the dentist. Mm-hmm. It's just something that's going to happen. But I'd rather go to the dentist than get a haircut, I think.
Yeah.
Except for the monetary factor and how much it costs.
It's not even a money. Do you know what? I think it's just booking appointments in general. I think I just don't like booking appointments. I don't like having to go do things.
Talking to people is not good. No. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But I feel like I can at least more easily fake confidence in person rather than over the phone.
I see, I'm the opposite, where at least I can have a face on me over the phone and sound cheery. But just I just felt the most horrible face.
You did pull a face, as in that you could not pull in front of someone if you're trying to book a haircut.
Exactly. Okay, thank you. That's great.
Hello, I give me a haircut, please. Dentist needs booking now. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. It's bad enough that we should probably clarify that my mum is now asking me every 2 days if I've booked the dentist.
Still.
Yeah.
I thought you clarified that with your mother.
I did, and she called me a bugger. So my mum texted me when we were on a production meeting and said, have you booked the dentist? And the day before, she'd asked me if I'd booked the dentist, and I said, ask me tomorrow. Because that was me being cheeky, because obviously tomorrow never comes. It's always today.
That's not even being cheeky. That's
just a fact.
That's a low-level cheek tier.
Yeah, so she texted me, I looked at it and ignored it. And then she came in from work and she was like, so, have you booked the dentist? I was like, she's like, I know you've seen it because it tells me that you've seen it. I was like, damn it.
See, you should just be very vague and just be like, maybe I have, maybe I haven't. And see what the reaction is and see if she's going to slap you upside the head or something.
Yeah, this is the problem. This is one of the few problems I find with living with my mum and dad, is that she is always there and can always just keep asking
me. Yeah. I'm just trying to remember the last time I talked to my mother. That sounds terrible. I know when it was. It was a couple of weeks ago when my grandmother was in town.
Right then.
Yeah. But the new theme, I'm liking our new theme song.
I'm loving it. It's very noughties, like late 90s, early noughties.
It is. I'm trying to think of what bands it reminds me of. But there's some that I just can't think of the names, but it'd be played. Coming up on 96 FM, we've got Such and Such with their new hit, the Bongi Bongi song. Because that's how it sounds at some points. It sounds boom, 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 boom. That's how it's Bongi Bongi song.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're laughing, and I'm terrified at what I just said because it sounds like a racial slur here in Australia. And I'm thinking we're going to have to cut that out.
We should maybe cut that out just to be safe.
Yeah,
it sounds like cut that a song.
Out. Yes. We'll see how we go about cutting that out or not. But
because there are things that I've told you to cut out that you didn't. That you've just released a podcast with me saying cut that out.
Oh, some of it. If it's nothing bad, yeah.
It was me making a terrible
I give it to
joke.
you to listen to.
It was me.
Oh, what was the joke? I can't. What was it?
It was in episode 3. It was about David Guest, and you said, "Is that the David that fought Goliath?" And I went, "He was like, Guest on that story." I was like, "That's a terrible joke. Cut that out." And you went, "I will," and then didn't.
I am a liar.
You are.
But there is a part that I still need to cut out of a upcoming episode, which is already recorded, which is weird because this episode is coming out before that episode.
Yeah. We got a bit too excited with recording podcasts, and we just started recording stuff like, we should maybe make sure everything's in place first.
And we got this lovely theme from Justin Froyog, who we mentioned over the theme during the awkward part where we don't know if we should be talking or not. Very, very kindly gave us this musical intro and outro, which we haven't edited together yet, so we don't know how it's going to sound on the outro.
Yes, but we do love you, Justin. Thank you so much for this.
Yeah. And we also decided we should record another episode before the ones we have already recorded, just because the podcast has launched 2 days ago, and we figured we needed to talk about it. And yeah, it is a bit overwhelming with the nice things people have been saying.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's despite the fact that we, were posting stuff about it before it launched, people were very nice about it. I still fully expected people to be like, "Oh, you're actually doing this? You're serious?" Block.
Yeah. It's like too much podcast content. Gosh.
Yeah, it's at the point where I'm frantically scrolling through my Procreate, like, I need to post some art stuff just to break it up.
Yeah. That's exactly it. Speaking of art though, we haven't mentioned this before on the podcast, but we're also now doing regular or semi-regular drawing streams on Twitch.
Yes.
So you can find that at twitch.tv/nicepodbud. We don't have any schedules up or anything like that, but if you hit the bell icon, it will just let you know when we are streaming. But eventually we'll get organized and we'll put up a schedule, hopefully.
Yeah.
And we usually and then you can come by and watch us draw.
And we usually put it up on Twitter as well, so.
Yeah. But the problem with that, it's no notice, so you can't be like, "Oh wow, Brogan and Wayne are going to be streaming at 8:30 my time. I better cancel that appointment with my doctor. Cancer can forget itself. Who needs chemotherapy? I can watch a drawing stream."
Oh yeah, that is the only issue with putting it up on Twitter.
Yeah,
but yeah, I've quite enjoyed it doing, because I've never streamed drawing before. I am used to doing drawings with references and templates and stuff, so doing freehand drawings is a very new experience for me, and it's fun.
See, my drawings are kind of freehand, but it's comics, and I've been doing them for years now, and they look the same, so it's easy. But yeah, I haven't done real drawing stream like what we're doing now, where we're drawing whatever we think of in the moment. It's very inspired by one of my favorite artists, Jonah Vasquez, doing his drawing streams with friends. And for a long time, I've been like, I'd love to do that. And then now we can.
Exactly. I do quite like that we start off with a theme, and sometimes we stick with that theme, and sometimes we just don't.
But I think we did. Are you saying that we didn't last stream?
We definitely didn't, considering the theme was ICS love tokens, inspired by something Matt said on one of his Twitch happy hours, and we ended up with Werner Herzog.
Yes, special guest Werner Herzog. What was it again? The beige, sad beige
toys for sad beige children.
Yes,
which is one of my.
Herzog came by. He was talking about his sad beige, and we discovered that Brogan just loses it at Werner Herzog.
If you go back, because the streams are up on YouTube. If you go up and watch it,
as well, yeah,
it's literally just me dying for a solid half hour.
Yeah. See, I knew it was going to keep killing you, so I just kept on doing it.
And I love.
Yeah, so you can. I was going to say, you can rewatch the streams on YouTube and or Twitch. We've got highlights of the full broadcast, so you can always watch them.
And if you have any suggestions for stream ideas, feel free to just let us know. Just tell us what we should be doing, because we don't fucking know.
See, I don't think they should tell us just randomly on Twitter or anything like that. I think they should come into the stream and maybe give suggestions.
I like that too.
I'd be willing to do that, which is fine until we get too big for our own britches and there's, we're like, no, I don't think I'll be drawing that. But for now, it's fine.
The only problem is if we start drawing something and we get so into it that we forget that the chat's there, which we have done.
Yeah, that's right. That was my fault because my streaming client that I'm using, I'm logged in for my comic account. So the chat wasn't appearing on the screen in front of me. It was, but not in where my muscle memory is to look up for the chat because I've got a different overlay on ours. So it's a bit different. So we were ignoring Chris a little bit there. Sorry about that, Chris.
We are very sorry.
Yeah. But we've had a few friends pop into the chat, which is good. It keeps us entertained.
Yeah, definitely. And we get some good stuff out of it. Like I ended up with 3 actual drawings off one of our streams.
The baby Piff and the 80s pen dad and the other one was Pop, was it?
Yeah. This is my son, my grandson. He's a loser. That's something to be proud of, right. I guess.
Yeah. Because we all know that Piff is the loser or a loser from America's Got Talent.
And that's not something that a grandparent would really understand why that should be advertised.
Probably not. It's like, why are you putting this on billboards?
I love drawing Pop. I've only drawn him twice and I still love him. And Papa, I'm Pop. I'm 80s Pop. 1680s.
80s Pop is very good. And I do like the different style eyes on that 80s Pop.
Yeah, it's
80s Pop. Sounds like we're going to start talking about Madonna or something.
Yeah, because when I was drawing Baby Piff, I tried to do my normal eyes and I was like, this is not cute enough. So I started looking up eye styles. I was like, okay, what can I do with that? So then when I tried to do Pop holding Baby Piff with the Baby Piff eyes and normal eyes, I was like, that looks weird.
Yeah, so. It looks a little Pixar-y, a little bit Pixar-ish. But Baby Piff also looks like he's a more realistic rendering of Bub and or Bob from Bubble Bobble,
which unfortunately is a reference lost on me.
Bubble Bobble. You've never seen Bubble Bobble?
I don't think so.
It's like classic arcade game, over 100 stages. No. And that theme song. Sorry, Justin, but the Bubble Bobble theme song might be a bigger banger than our own. I'll play it for you later.
Yeah, I might need to do some research on that one. Yeah. But yes, Baby Piff is just very, very cute.
And you can see Baby Piff on our social media. It's there. You'll see it. I'm not going to repost it, but you can see it if you scroll backwards.
Yes. I like the second one especially because he looks grumpy.
Grumpy Baby Piff.
Grumpy Baby Piff. It's like, how dare my dad hold me?
Yeah. But the way that Penn is sort of holding Baby Piff, it's like Baby Piff is needs changing or something like that.
Well, I took inspiration from the fact that when we were in Vegas and I was on stage with Piff, it was like, stick your hands out like you were holding a baby. And it was very obvious that I didn't know what I was doing. He's like, have you ever held a baby? It's like, no, I don't know what I'm doing. So that's kind of what I drew from, like, Pop doesn't know how to hold a baby. Pop has no idea what he's doing, doesn't really care.
See, those are also some of my favorite photos in the launch video is of you on stage. One with the baby and then Piff and Jade just looking at you. There's some good photos.
That was such a good experience because Piff just be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, what's in the baby's hand? I was like, I don't know, I'm Scottish. Because I did genuinely.
You could have just said currency.
I did.
Currency, maybe.
I did.
Yeah.
Because I said money.
That is what you said.
I said it's money, and he said, "Okay, but what kind of money?" And I panicked and said, "I don't know. I'm Scottish." He was like, "Well, maybe educate yourself."
Yeah. Just look down at the coin.
Well, because it was shiny as well. I did have to I was like, how quickly can I do this without just going? Ugh.
A coin collector such as yourself, unable to recognize a coin.
I collect 50 pence pieces, and even then.
50 PPs.
Yes. Yeah.
PPs.
You just said that. That was just an excuse for you to say PP.
I didn't know it at the time, though.
I used to work with a lady who used to go to the toilet. And she used to say, go for a pee-pee. And I'm like, you're a 60-year-old woman. Why are you telling us this?
I just started laughing because I used to work with a woman who would go to the toilet, and really,
but
fascinating.
Genuinely, I do my very best not to use the bathroom when I work, and I don't know if this is podcast conversation or not.
I think it's fair enough because it would be considered a public bathroom.
Yeah,
and public bathrooms are gross.
Yeah, I trained myself from a young age not to use public bathrooms.
Was it negative or positive reinforcement? Was it every time that you were like, maybe I should go, you would just like hit yourself and be like, no?
Sheer force of will and spite. Don't think there's any.
It was I'm too good to use that lavatory. Because I assume all bathrooms are called lavatories over in the UK.
I don't know if I've ever called a bathroom a lavatory.
Yes, you have. Every single one of them.
Maybe down in England, where I'm not from.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that. What about water closet?
No, definitely.
Americans are hooked up. Americans seem to be hooked up on people in England and the rest of the UK calling a toilet or a bathroom a water closet.
I've never heard anybody use that. I've seen signs that say WC.
Yes.
But never actually heard anybody use it.
In my job, I do have to refer to them as WC or water closet sometimes because that's how they're called on schematics and drawings.
Yeah.
Builder's drawings and that. So I am kind of used to seeing it, but no one ever calls it that. Not on purpose.
No.
I'm just going to head over to the water closet, store my wetsuit and snorkel. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Toilet talk and then silence.
Yeah. Like, there's no easy segue from this, is there?
No, I can't even remember how we got on to toilet talk.
Oh, okay. Before toilet talk. There's a new segment, Toilet Talk. We were talking about drawings and drawing streams.
Yeah.
And maybe we can sort of segue into this on the notes where I was showing you a terrible, terrible website that I made. Mm-hmm. At the time it wasn't terrible, but it's just I've gotten a lot better at things, I feel.
It's a piece of history.
Especially when it comes to writing.
It's a piece of history it's very funny. It's very funny.
It tries to be funny. It's funny in a weird way. Let's go with that. Because it was actually a recreation of another website, like my very first website. Mm-hmm. Because it was on GeoCities and I didn't back it up and GeoCities went away.
Yeah.
And so I had to remake it. And I just couldn't remember exactly what I wrote. Mm-hmm. But it was all based around from a couple of episodes ago. We were doing the Pentaveret speech.
Yes.
Pentaveret rant. And it was all based around that from So I Married an Axe Murderer and KFC because it was about why KFC is bad or something. I can't even remember exactly what it was, but it was stupid things as why you shouldn't eat KFC.
The bit I remember was the fact that you said Colonel Sanders faked his own death, but they were using the body for the chicken.
Yes, something like, you shall take this, it is my body, and you shall eat my body, for I am the Christ of chickens, or something like that. Is what the quote from Colonel Sanders would have been. But yeah, none of that was in the original version of this website. It's not great, but there are some fun things. There are some things I look at fondly that are on there that I do like. Yeah. But one thing I do not look at fondly are the drawings that are on there. And when we stumbled across that, as I was showing you them on screen share, I was like, nope, that ain't happening. We're getting out of that. That is not a thing.
Despite that, you've shown me one of those drawings before, and I remember you do it because you were like, no, I don't like this. I am showing you this for historical accuracy, but I don't want you to see it.
Which one was it? Was it just the newspaper one?
It was the newspaper one.
See, the newspaper one's fine. The newspaper one's hilarious. Mm-hmm. That made an appearance on Bucket Picks one time.
Really?
But they didn't roll with it though. I think Matt said that it was hilarious and too funny to use. which was a compliment. It's a terrible archaic drawing. It's the first thing I ever drew on my first drawing tablet.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, no, please do not go searching for drawings. I don't know where they are. I can't take them down from everywhere they are. Please, just do not search for them. I hate them all.
Have you ever thought about redoing them?
No,
like in your
because
current
they're terrible.
style?
It's a time capsule, basically.
So you're more opposed to the idea in the drawings rather than the actual style of the drawings.
Oh, yeah, the style is terrible for starters. But that's neither here nor there. It's so the content, maybe not even so much the content. Maybe it's the time that they were drawn, I think might be it. Let's go with that.
I suppose that makes more sense. Because I know that certainly there's stuff I've done that I'm like, I would like to redraw that. Or because I look back, whether or not look back at it now, that I'm like, that was bad. But I do look back at some of my stuff and go, that was bad. But there's
the first whole year of not so good at this.
I don't. Well, do I have a year? I do just have a year under my belt of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
it's. I mean, your styles change and evolve, which is what's going to happen. So it makes sense if you want to redraw things. That feel free. You should redraw things in your new style. But I don't think it's necessarily necessary to do that.
Yeah.
Especially if it's saying or portraying what you want it to.
Yeah.
It's like some of my comics, it's more about the writing than it is the drawing on the early ones.
Yeah.
That's why I don't feel the need to change them.
Yeah. I think for me, there's just ones that I'm like, there's one that I just really, really like, and it's the pen, pop, and piff. That's not what I meant to say.
It sounds like pen has got a pin and popping piff like a balloon.
I knew there was 3 P's, and I was like, I can't remember what the third P. The one that's piff, pop,
pen, pop, piff, pop, pop, and
yeah. The 3 generations of Magic Dragon hug one.
Yes,
which I do love and do have redrawn a few times. And I'd like to get that to a point that I'm really, really happy with it and would want to do a print of it, but I don't think I'm quite there yet.
Okay. See, I know what you're saying now, because before coming on to record this episode, I just drew an anthropomorphic cow. And there's a comic which is going back to the launch of Red Dead Redemption where I drew an anthropomorphic cow.
Ooh.
And I think that comic would benefit from having the new anthropomorphic cow. I just like saying anthropomorphic cow.
I think it's worth looking at stuff. But, so you showed me your old website, but you got me back by...
Well, sort of, but not really. It wasn't getting you back. We both post on our social medias, right?
Yes.
So obviously, leading up to the podcast, we've been doing a lot of like social media posts and things like that across multiple platforms. We both have, but I've seemed to have been doing a lot just because I've had a lot of the content on my computer to post, and I'm already easily logged in to everything on my desktop. And I'm very familiar with using most of these platforms like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Imager, but Tumblr I've never used, and I didn't realize that Tumblr it's a blog. It's not just like an image hosting website.
Yeah.
People use it as a blog because that's what it is. So we were posting something like while we were having a production meeting on Zoom, and I was sharing my screen, and you could see me on screen doing it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to need to learn a bit about it. And I tagged you previously in a post and clicked on your blog and started going through it. And you're like, oh God, you're going to go through my Tumblr. And the fear on your face.
Well, it's not even because the thing with Tumblr is I've been on it since 2011. So a good while at this point. So there's a lot. I am not the same person now that I was when I started. I'm not even the same person I was when I started the second blog, because this is my second blog.
Okay.
There's a link to my first one at the start of this one, and I probably should get rid of it because there's a lot of shit on there. Because it's unlike with Twitter and stuff at this point where people who have met me in real life follow me on there. people on Tumblr who have met me in real life have not met me in real life. You know, I'm just a person online.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's uncomfortable to think about the stuff that's on there, and I probably should go back and delete it, but there's a part of me that doesn't want to. And that's probably very toxic.
It's the same with like all my old shit as well.
Mm.
It's like it's there. Probably should get rid of it because it's serving no purpose for anyone really, except maybe for me knowing that it's there.
Yeah, I mean, from an art perspective, I mean that's because it's not art stuff that I'm talking about going back, because that's only been about a year. There's a separate blog for that, and that's okay. But yeah, it's very strange to think, oh, somebody who knows me and has met me and speaks to me regularly will possibly see this. I don't know. Yeah, it's very odd.
It's an insight to life before knowing them, I guess.
Yeah.
Life before knowing someone else. And that's exactly my fear as well, on not just the art, but like even on social media in general.
Yeah.
But no, I decided that I wasn't going to go through your Tumblr anyway because I didn't understand it. Old man Wayne doesn't know what Tumblr is.
I did have to talk you through how to use the archive. Click here, do this.
Couldn't work it out. But no, it's like you did seem concerned, so I wasn't going to do that. But then I was like, well, if I do go through it, I might get really sad because like, oh, I didn't get to know Brogan back then.
We actually did start going through my my art stuff on Twitter, being like, okay, when did I start?
Yeah, I think we were trying to work out, because it's now documented in episode 1 of Hey Buddy Nice podcast of how I felt about Brogan before knowing Brogan, and I think we were trying to work out when we actually sort of became friends on. Online at least, which
was quite funny, like knowing that we are friends now. Going back through looking at stuff and you were going, oh, I must have liked that, I
would have clicked like and I hadn't. But we didn't check because it gets retweeted by like Hey Scoops and things like that. That's what I probably liked.
That's true.
So I was like, no, I probably liked them on your Instagram, which I think I stopped us from checking just to save my own embarrassment.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been talking about social media and drawings and art, so maybe we should flow into this. We don't have a name for it. Wait, something we should work in, like red signal art, something. I don't know. We'll work on it. But art that we've done this week. Have you done any art? I'm sure you have.
I've drawn stuff this week. I don't think I've actually posted anything this week.
Yeah, that's a fine distinction, isn't it? Yeah. Whether it's been posted or not.
Because I've drawn a lot. Folks may have seen that I started posting this project and then stopped. And then somebody asked me about it. I was like, oh, I should finish that, shouldn't I? So I started doing tarot cards based on magicians, which I think came from a Piff pod, like Matt talking about it. It must have done because Jade and Piff claimed theirs as magician, high priestess, and said that Piffles would be hermit. So obviously I had to do that.
So, Mr. Piffles is the hermit.
Mr. Piffles is the hermit.
Have I seen Mr. Piffles is the hermit yet? Give me a sneak peek. I'm taking a look at Mr. Piffles as the hermit. Okay, so it's a straight up Mr. Piffles. Have you thought about drawing a giant hermit crab shell on it?
I have not, but that might be a variant.
Yeah, that can be like a holo card version or something.
Especially a chaser, chase card.
Yeah.
But yes, so I'm currently in the process of doing all 22 Arcana cards for tarot. And
there's only 22 cards in tarot.
There's 75.
Fuck a duck.
Something like that. But there's 22 Arcana cards plus 4 suits.
Okay.
So I'm not planning to do all of the 4 suits. I might change that. I'm doing a couple of them as requested by Elton Magic Scoop. Shout out. Hi, thanks for reminding me to finish that project. It is a work in progress. So there's a part of me that wants to post some of this, but having already started doing it and knowing that it's already changed a lot since then, and I kind of want to finish it before I start posting it.
Okay.
Like,
I mean, some people do have work in progress posts and things like that, but that seems to be nowadays behind a paywall, like on Patreon and things like that, which we don't have yet. Because we don't think people will give us money.
No,
we say cheekily.
If you want to give us money, please tell us. We will set up a Patreon, but there is no pressure.
Yes. I have already seen one request for when is the Patreon. Yes.
Excellent. Yeah, because I would quite like to do this full time. So if you want to pay us to do it full time, that would be lovely. Yep. Thank you.
But for 2 full wages, I don't think that's going to happen.
Oh, that would be funny though. That would be good. So I'm in the process of doing that. I've done 8. One of them I'm not too happy with. I'm doing the 9th just now. So and you've not seen them all. So
no, I haven't. I've seen 3 and 4 with Piffles now.
Yes, so I will have to send you them later.
It's okay.
Because you are my.
Like I say, I'm not offended. Whatever.
I like to wait until I'm happy with them. I like to send you a bundle and say, because I always run them. I run things past you before I post them sometimes. Because you're my.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm just like, I get too excited and I just click post and I'm like, why did I do that?
Yeah. Yes. I think at least it's good having someone else to at least bounce it off.
Yeah.
To begin with.
Yeah.
I wouldn't come to me for any form of real advice. Speaking of which, folks listening, dear listeners, if you do want any art advice, write in to admin@nicepodbud.com.
You got it right.
And we will give you our advice. I did. I had to think hard.
Yes, we're happy to give advice. I don't know how useful that advice will be, but we can try.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you can include attachments if you want, and we could even rate and review. Like, we're not. It doesn't have to be serious. We could jokingly review your art if you want.
Yeah,
we can do that. That sounds like a bit we could do.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Or send us a say, I am stuck on this. Please finish the joke here.
Oh, we can do it Mr. Squiggle style. This is for the Aussies. Okay, so we'll do some Mr. Squiggle. So you start off the drawings and we'll finish them off, and they can be upside down, or whatever. All right, that's the end of Mr. Squiggle talk for the Aussies.
We could do that though.
Yeah. But have you done anything? Any other? Not really. Nothing prepared to share.
Nothing I can share at the moment.
Okay,
I'll
go
leave
with
it at
that.
What about you, Wayne?
Right.
What's happening in Not So Good at This World?
I've had to do some art for some Patreon art and the usual comics. Oh, speaking of which, comics. We can revive the Not So Good at This podcast.
We can.
We can do it right here, right now. Roll the music. Here's the second theme song for one episode. Not so good at this. Okay, so first comic that I published today was wait, this is not how we do Not So Good at This. I have to get into the Not So Good at This voice. All right, here we go. Today we're looking at Sad Pirate Comic 18. Working title, Sad Pirate 18. And it's 3 panels long. In the first panel, we see Sad Pirate. He's entered like a shop or a convenience store or something, and he's holding a bag of doubloons. And there's a shop clerk assistant, and the assistant is saying,
"That'll be $22.50.
And then Sad Pirate throws his bag of doubloons onto the counter and says, "Yard, this should cover it." And then in the last panel, a little bit surprised, the cashier replies,
"We've gone cashless."
And Sad Pirate is sad. That's the comic. There we go, that worked.
Sad Pirate is sad.
Every Sad Pirate comic will end like that. Not so good at this. Today we're looking at comic number 389, working title, Dads, and it's 5 panels long. In the first panel, there's a girl and she's saying,
"I'm totally into dads."
In the second panel, there's a guy looking quite chuffed and he's saying, "I'm a dad." Then in the third panel, the girl replies,
"No, Dungeons and Dragons."
And the guy is even more excited and he's holding up a book that says D&D player book and he's saying, "Have I got news for you? And then in the last panel, we see it's a little bit later in the day, and the girl is going into a dark and dank dungeon with a dragon. That's the comic. There you go. There was 2 comics from Not So Good at This anyway. That's all I've drawn. But yeah, we'll try to keep up with that. I mean, it might go the way of the actual Not So Good at This podcast, where I just couldn't keep up with it. It's too hard to do 10 episodes a week. I've still got recordings from Piff sitting there, Piff and Jade, that I haven't. Maybe I should look into. I don't know. We'll see.
Patreon rewards.
Yeah, we could do a side podcast. Mm-hmm. It can be our side hustle podcast. we can branch out like Matt Donnelly and start doing like 10 podcasts a week.
I don't know how he functions.
No, when does he have the time to do all of it?
He doesn't.
I don't get it.
He doesn't. I don't know when he has time to do anything.
Yeah, and that's just because he's got 2 kids.
Exactly. Damn, Matt, we respect you, man.
Well, I wouldn't go that.
We love and respect Matt Donnelly on this podcast.
We do. We love, respect, and support Matthew middle initial Donnelly.
I did, when I was looking through our chat for something, I did come across early podcast title suggestions, and one of them was the Matt Donnelly Appreciation Hour.
the Matt Donnelly Appreciation Variety Hour. Yeah, I like that. That can be a bonus episode.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, nice Matt Donnelly Appreciation Hour.
Yeah. Speaking of, that's what we can call the episode that he will eventually guest spot on.
Yes.
But yeah, speaking of guest spots and things like that, we've had to reshuffle some podcast episodes around, and we do have a very special episode coming up.
We do.
Should we do that one next, or are we going to go with the guest next?
I think we should go with the guest next.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah.
Undisclosed guest.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hang on. I know who the guest is. It is actually Werner Herzog. He has come to speak about his sad beige toys for sad beige children.
That really just does set me off.
And Brogan's gone.
Every single time.
I don't even know if it's a good Werner Herzog or not.
Neither. Do you what? Because the reason I know about it is it comes from a TikTok where that's what the woman does. She does Werner Herzog sad beige toys for sad beige children. And I thought Werner Herzog was like a company. Oh. I didn't realise it was a person.
No, you know Werner. He is, I want to see the baby.
I know now, but only
bring me the baby.
Only because you had said.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Werner Herzog's a person.
He is. He's a person who is not David Lynch. That only makes sense if you've seen the drawing stream from yesterday or the day before, whenever it was.
Yes. Well, it can't have been yesterday. It wasn't yesterday because you met a special guest yesterday. I
did. There was another special guest on our production meeting.
Yes.
And that special guest was Rollo.
Yeah.
I'm saying it right. See, you say Rollo differently, but that could just be the accent.
It's definitely the accent. Rollo.
Rollo. And what is Rollo? Is Rollo named after the chocolatey treat Rollos? Chocolatey caramel treats?
I don't think so. I'm not honest. So for clarification, because we're just talking about Rollo like people know who he is. Rollo is my uncle's dog.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought we should have made that clear.
Yeah.
I forgot we hadn't mentioned Rollo as a dog.
Rollo is my uncle's dog, who I dog sit when my uncle is golfing sometimes. And he golfs every Saturday, and sometimes I'll go and pick him up. But this is the first time that I'd seen him since I was back from Vegas. So
it's not so much dog sitting as it is you get to hang out with Rollo.
Oh, yeah. My Uncle Graham calls it dog sitting. I call it, hanging out with Rollo. Hanging out with my dog cousin.
Because Rollo looked like a dog cousin. Rollo looked like a fairly confident dog. I don't think Rollo needs to be dog sat for however long it takes to play a round of golf.
No, he doesn't. But it lets my uncle hang out. He doesn't have to rush home. Is the big thing. He can, sit, have a chat with the guys at the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it gets me out exercising. Although I didn't really do much yesterday.
Are we going to put a picture up of Rollo or no? Is that not for the people to see?
I will put up a picture of Rollo. I will put up the selfie that I sent you, because I never told you who the special guest was. I just said I might have a special guest. And you were like, okay. And then I messaged you yesterday and said, have you got time to Zoom to meet the special guest? And you're like, who is your special guest?
Did you mention? I can't remember. I'm starting to freak out.
Yeah, because I never said who it was. I just said there would be someone.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, you're being weird. You're like, I don't know about this. I thought, okay, I'm making this weird. I will. And I sent you a selfie of me and Rollo and said, this is the special guest. It's a dog. Do you want to meet a doggy? And what did you reply?
Zoom will not open fast enough, I think is what I said. I cannot open Zoom fast enough. And then when I try to connect to our Zoom meeting, it was like, sorry, the host is currently in another meeting. It's like, what do you mean another meeting? It can't be anything more important than showing me a doggo. Because
I was having to do it from my mobile because I was out on a walk. Because I knew it was late your time already. It was like, what, 10, half 11 or something.
You were saying it was late. It wasn't that late considering. But I did end up going to bed early, midnight, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, so there we go. But so I was doing it on my phone and I was like, nah, I'm clicking the wrong thing. And then you got to meet Rollo, the dog.
Yeah. And how do you spell Rollo? I spell it Rollo.
That's right.
That correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just because I'm making notes as we talk.
But yes, that was our special guest. He's a very good dog.
Okay. So we did just have almost an accent issue there with the pronunciation of Rollo. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've seen, we did get a request for accent challenge.
Did we?
We did. It's from Chris. Again, that's fine. We'll take all of Chris's suggestions.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got Chris's suggestion here, and it is it's one of his favorite South Park bits that is just perfect for us. It is Chef's dad's rant about the Loch Ness Monster. Are you familiar with this, Brogan?
I am. This also one of my favorite bits.
It is a good bit. All right, so how are we going to do this? Because this is becoming a point of contention between us now with the accent challenge, and you're a bit peeved because I think you were expecting outright wins on this.
I was, and that's so bratty of me.
But the voting, I've been up in at least one of these on Twitter. You can vote.
I'm not too
no
pleased about that.
That's right. And you thought you would try to get the hand up on me, the leg up, and vote for yourself.
Says the man who also voted for himself.
After you voted for yourself, thank you very much.
I was doing it for the shits and giggles. Okay. Mostly because I was sitting there, you go, don't you fucking dare vote for yourself.
Oh yeah, you were watching me, you were waiting, and I was refreshing, I was like, okay, it hasn't been done. And then you're just sitting there grinning and then stifling a giggle.
I was giggling because you'd already glared. You glared at me, I voted, and then you said, don't you fucking dare vote for yourself. And I was like, haha, already done.
Yes. All right, doesn't matter. It's the public who vote. On Twitter, you'll see each episode. We've got a couple up there already. By the time this airs, though, the voting will be over. And we will be keeping score. Yeah. It is 1 point awarded for every win. Mm-hmm. So today's challenge, Chef's dad's speech about the Loch Ness Monster and needing tree fitty. Now, I don't think we're going to do Chef's dad's voice.
I think that could get us in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I do not feel comfortable with it right now. But I guess we're just going to do it in our own accents and then possibly each other's accents.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay. I think you always go first on these, so I think I'll go first today.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll just read it in my speech and I'll try and I'm just going to do it fresh and I'm going to do it with some gusto, not just reading it out loud. I'll read it how it should be said in the show. Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. Must have been about 7, 8 years ago. Me and the little lady were out on this boat. You see, all alone at night, when all of a sudden this huge creature, this giant crustacean from the Paleolithic era, comes out of the water. It stood above us, looking down with these big red eyes, and I yelled, "What do you want from us, monster?" And the monster bent down and said, I need about 350. That's the rant. I feel like I could have done better personally, but that's it. We've just gone in fresh. Mm-hmm. That's the risk we take going first in this challenge. Now it's your turn, Brogan.
That's my turn. And am I reading this just reading it, or am I?
You're reading it in your natural born accent.
Am I reading this like with some gusto or?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like we have to.
Right. I hate this. I get so embarrassed. And I forget what my own accent sounds like. How terrible is that?
You just talk.
I know, but but the instinct to do a Mike Myers impression is so strong.
Every time.
Every time. Right. Must have been about 7-8 years ago. Me and the little lady were out on this boat, you see, all alone at night, when all of a sudden this huge creature, this giant crustacean from the Paleolithic era, comes out of the water. It stood above us, looking down with these big red eyes, and I yelled, "What do you want from us, monster?" And the monster bent down and said, I need about 350.
You went for the 350,
I couldn't
not the
help
350.
it. 350. I can't do it.
Yep. I'm glad that you stumbled on that, because I stumbled on I still can't say it. Paleolithic.
Paleolithic. I said Paleolithic. You said Paleolithic.
Paleolithic. Okay. All right. That's fine. We're going to do this. We're going to exchange accents. Are we? Yes. I haven't used my keyword yet. It's a well-known fact, Sonny Jim. There we go. Okay. This is the hard part. You have trouble doing it in your own accent. I have trouble doing it in your accent. Okay. Sonny Jim. It must have been about 7-8 years ago. Me and the little lady were out on this boat, you see, all alone at night, when all of a sudden this huge creature, this giant crustacean from the Paleolithic era, comes out of the water. It stood above us, looking down with these big, beady red eyes, and I yelled, "What do you want from us, monster?" And the monster bent down and said, I need about 350. I was not happy with that. But I saw big red eyes, and I had to go for beady red eyes.
I know.
I was doing my best to not channel Mike Myers as well. I think that's what was throwing me.
It's so hard though, isn't it?
What Aussie are you going to try to channel?
I'm going to try
this voice.
Tonight, Matthew, I will be Wayne Giovanese.
What? I'm so confused about this.
Is that not a thing? Oh, did you not have stars in your eyes?
No.
Oh, okay. So there used to be a TV show called Stars in Their Eyes.
Where they dress up as different singers and do their impersonations of these singers and stuff. Is that what it was?
Yeah. And the host in the UK was a guy called Matthew. And that's what they used to say.
Okay.
Tonight, Matthew, I will be XYZ.
I thought you were going for Paul Mattingly calling Jacob different names when asking for categories.
No, none of us have the balls of Paul Mattingly, we've discovered.
Yes, correct.
So yes, I will be channeling. So my accent is Wayne Giovanese.
Okay.
And you are Jane.
I thought we discussed Julia Morris, but that's fine.
I can't do Julia Morris. She's too funny. And then I'll start having to quote her.
Yeah, right. Yes. Okay. I can't even do a Julia Morris. No. All right then, go for it. You channel me if you must. Warming up the face muscles, I see.
I keep laughing and my cheeks are getting sore.
Oh yes. Go with no.
No.
Oh, do you know Kath and Kim?
No, I haven't seen Kath and Kim.
If you've seen that, okay, that's something you could have channeled. No, it must have been about 7-8 years ago.
8 years ago.
Think of Johnny Australia.
Oh God, why am I so bad at this? Can you feed me the line? Feed me the first line.
It must have been about 7-8 years. Oh, do you want me to Aussie it up some more?
Yeah, Aussie it up some more.
Must have been about 7-8 years ago.
Must have been about 7-8 years ago. Me and the little lady, we were out in this boat, you see, all alone at night, when all of a sudden this huge creature, giant crustacean from the Paleolithic era, comes out of the water. It stood above us, looking down with these big red eyes, and I yelled, "What do you want from us, monster?" And the monster bent down and said, "Need about 350."
Oh, see, that was... I knew I'm losing this challenge. The second you said water, I knew I was gone. Yeah, you got the water too good. There was no R at all, not even a hint of an R in that water.
Which is funny because, as we've discussed, when I say water, or when I say, 9 times out of 10 it comes out as water. War. Can I have some water?
Water.
And it's pretty much just war.
What?
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. Water it is. I was going to say something else, but I'm not going to say it. But instead, I'm going to say it's up to you now, dear listener, to go to our Twitter, @NicePodBud, and vote on who said this better. And you can base your vote on either our own natural accents or our transmogrified accents of each other. You do you. Naturally, it's going to start off with 1 vote for Wayne and 1 vote for Brogan, because we're clearly voting for ourselves every time now.
Pretty much. I quite like saving my vote until there's been a couple of votes and then just
oh yes, that's sneaky. Oh, okay.
Because it makes me laugh.
We'll leave it right to the last second.
It makes me laugh.
And how long should we put this up for? A few days? Yeah, so this will launch on a Friday, so Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So around Monday, Tuesday it will end. So you've got time to listen and time to vote.
Yeah.
That's on Twitter, but you can also find us on other social media such as Facebook, Instagram, Imager, Tumblr, and that's all @NicePodBud. You can drop us a line, admin@nicepodbud.com, or just go to the website, nicepodbud.com. There's a contact form link up the top. Just click on that and send us more accent challenges. Another thing I want you to send as well is if you've got any stories about meeting someone for the first time that became a friend. So, but like not just a general meeting, oh yeah, I met Greg down at the pub and now we're mates. No, like if it's like a weird interaction that turned into something better, I guess. Let's see if you've got anything like that to send in. But you can also, if you want to talk to Brogan directly, that is @7BillionNeedles. That's the numeral 7 and the words billion and needles.
And if you want to talk to Wayne, you find him @WayneGeo on everything except Facebook.
That's right, because I don't like Facebook, partner. I guess now some sort of outro music would play, but we haven't cut that together yet. So instead, we're just going to say...
Stay fresh, cheese bags. Stay fresh, cheese bags. Stay fresh, cheese bags. Stay fresh, cheese bags.